I'm the author of the book Hoera, ik heb ADHD. I really don't know how to translate that in good English. Hooray, I have ADHD, I don't know. I'm an entrepreneur for about 20 years. And I'm also a cognitive behavioral therapist. So if you want to talk with me afterwards, please be cautious if you really want to do that, because I am a therapist. And I'm a coach for entrepreneurs with ADHD. And if you want to talk about the entrepreneurial advantage of ADHD, we first must really talk about the truth of ADHD. For the people who have a diagnosis, did you get a good story about what is going on in your brain, in your system, when you got the diagnosis? Do you really know what's happening on the inside? What's the story that they told you?
Give it by chemically?
No, whatever. You got your diagnosis, and then what? What did they tell you?
Here's the medicine, take it.
Yeah, for sure. It is like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it's not working,
so for me,
a different dose. Yeah.
For me, it's 25 years ago that I got my diagnosis, and all I really got is that my struggle got a name, and that was it. And I got a recipe, and that was it. And every time when I speak about ADHD, I asked people who are listening, how many of you really have a diagnosis? And about 80% will lift their hands. And then I will ask again, who really knows what's going on inside their system, inside their brain, whatever. And then 80% of the risen hands go down again. And I think that's crazy and scary, because we go in life and we have this system in us that's so different than everybody else. Have these pills or not? But when I ask you what's really going on inside, and can you really use it as an advantage? If you don't know what's going on, how can you really harness it as a power? So we must speak about the truth about ADHD. And what's not the truth about ADHD? That it is a deficit. It has nothing to do with a deficit. Imagine this. I have two very strong men here. And one is able to lift 1 kilo 100 times. And the other person is able to lift 100 kilos one time. Who's stronger? Who's stronger? The man that can lift 100 times 1 kilo? Or the man that can lift 1 times 100 kilos?
Depends on your goal.
Sorry?
It depends on your goal.
It depends exactly that. The truth is they are both powerful, but you cannot compare it. Because this on this side is conditional strength, like doing many repetitions, and on this side you have the explosive strength. When I ask you this question, who has more attention? One person who can give his attention to one thing for a very long time, a teacher in a classroom, or one person who divides all their attention to everything at the same time, even if it is for a very short moment. There is no attention deficit. Attention flows all the way about everything in the room, every subject, but there is no deficit. The Maori from New Zealand, they have a wonderful word for ADHD, and I don't know if I pronounce it right, but it says arore retini. And it's something like attention flows to many things. So if I'm in this classroom as a boy of 8, and I'm looking outside because there is a bird, and the teacher says to me, Frank, pay attention. I am paying attention, but not to him. And we are so, but you laugh, and you should laugh. But think about this. We are so, how do you say that? The norm that attention must go to one thing at one time is so high in this society, especially in the school system, that we forget that there's a lot of power, entrepreneurial power, in divided attention that goes to everything at the same time. It's not a superpower. It doesn't come easy. You need to know how to harness it, and that I will teach you. we stay in sports. If you think about running, and you think about one person who is very good at the 100-meter sprint, and there's this other person who is very good in running a marathon. Who's the better runner?
Different categories.
Sorry?
Different categories.
The sport is running, but you're so right, you cannot compare them. But what happens if the person who really developed the skill to run a marathon will join the 100-meter sprints? What will happen?
You lose.
He will absolutely be lost. He will be full of energy, because what was his skill?
Resistance. Endurance.
Endurance. His skill is he developed the skill to really slowly give energy, so that at the end of the marathon he would still have energy. If this person who is really able to run a 100-meter marathon, who has this skill to burst his energy for a very short period of time, if he would join the marathon, what would happen?
Hyperventilation.
Probably the first 3 to 5 kilometers, he would be, nobody will see him. And then he will lay beside the road and he will not be able to stand up again. So it's not the ability that's right or wrong, it's the context that decides if the ability is right or wrong. If I can give you an example from my own life. My organization, I work with youth that cannot live at home anymore. And they cannot live at home anymore. They all made a very difficult start in life. In their heart, very sweet boys, but in their behavior, aggression, you understand. And that aggression particularly arises when they are together. So if I'm at this typical Dutch birthday party, we sit around in a circle and I will speak to the person next to me. I'm supposed to give my attention to the story to the person next to me. But in my head I hear every other story. And there's something really interesting is happening, so I will look there, and there some cups are ringing, so I will look there. And this person will think that I have no attention, that I'm not interested. So I am in this wrong context, because I'm supposed to give my attention to one thing at a time, and my mind does not have that skill. But if I take that same skill to my work, and I'm with my boys in the same room, and at every moment something can happen. And I'm talking to this one boy, but my mind pays attention to everything. So I hear a little whisper 10 meters away, and it's not a good one. I see what is ader. I see the blood vessel. I see the blood vessel thickening on the head of another boy. A rise of stress. I hear footsteps above me on the corridor, but it's just a little bit more firm than normal. My attention goes to everything at the same time. Aurore retini. And that what was a disadvantage on the Dutch birthday becomes a skill in another context. So it's not the brain that has a weakness. If you take one thing from this evening, your brain is not broken. It's just functioning in the wrong context. And what happens if you function in the wrong context? You will get negativity in the social interactions. It's not hardcore science, but it's American psychiatrist William Dodson. He says that it's estimated that boys and girls about 12 years old who have ADHD will get 20,000 more criticisms and negative remarks than their peers from the same age without ADHD. And we know them all. Can't you just be quiet? I don't know what is the English sentence, but jou zouden ze eens achter de behang moeten plakken. Translate that in English for me, please. But we all had that. Be quiet. Oh, you are always so loud. And if those are the remarks that you get at a very young age, they will fill your mind. And I coach entrepreneurs very successful 40, 50-year-old men and women who look so mentally stable and so tough and thickened in entrepreneurship. And then I talk about these themes and you see them shrink. And 40-year-old men become 4-year-old boys because of the minds, the emotional damage that has been created, because the skills that they have continuously functioned in the wrong context. And if you want to become a successful entrepreneur with ADHD, this is the first demon you have to battle. It's not the entrepreneurial skills, this is the first one. Because as long as you believe that you are not worth it, that you are too much, that you whatever, it will always influence your beliefs negatively, and it will always give you a setback on your entrepreneurial journey with ADHD. What is the truth about ADHD? More and more science gives us a really new perspective on ADHD. That it is so much older than the term, the words. Science is starting to prove that it is probably an evolutionary skill set going way back to the hunter-gatherer time. Where it was an advantage for the tribe of the ADHD person if there were few among them who could give attention to everything at once. Because that is a skill that is absolutely necessary to hunt. To see, smell, hear, taste everything at the same time. And the moment you see the prey, you get this focus lock in, hyperfocus. And you're not going to think about, shall I hunt, shall I not, shall I go for it? No, impulsivity as a strength, not as a weakness. Even genetic research shows this, that from 10,000 years ago, when we started to live from agriculture, from farming, that the ADHD genes that they found in all bones started to decline. There's a rise in diagnosis, but really there's a decline in the ADHD genetic profile.
There's less and less?
Less and less,
Yeah.
yes. So we diagnose more and we think that it's some kind of a hype, but the truth is we are going extinct. But the beauty is, it goes very, very slowly. It's like Mother Nature is protecting this thing, because not only with people, also with animals. If the tribe is filled with 5% people that have this risk-taking, energetic, high attention span profile, it's good for the tribe. It's necessary for survival. Think about that when you create a belief system around your ADHD. Your brain is not broken, it's necessary for survival. But it's not easy to find a context these days where attention that goes to everything becomes a skill set. It's really a quest to find that place in life. Because our school system teaches us that it is the norm to give attention to one thing. And this is why entrepreneurship can be a very great context for the ADHD brain to flourish. Because you can create a world on your own terms. You can create a world where attention that goes to everything, aurora retine, is a skill. It doesn't come easy, but it can be. This French neuroscientist recently carried all kinds of studies, and she created a new theory about ADHD. She said, forget about the attention thing. ADHD is nothing more than hyper curiosity. A brain that wants to know and seek new impulses and new things constantly. You remember when you were sitting at school, why is this, why is this? You were asking your parents 1,000 questions an hour and they were like, all right, please stop, please stop. It is a strain, and it's the base of ADHD. A brain that needs new information and new impulses constantly. Which is the best place to get it? Entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurship doesn't come easy for the ADHD brain in this society. And I want to give you 4 stones to build a business that is good for your brain. The first step I want to teach you is that you must track your brain energy throughout the day. If you are very sensitive to yourself, you probably already noticed that your brain energy is not the same thing throughout the day. That in the afternoon, your mind has energy for other things, other kinds of relations than in the morning. Let me give you an example. This is not something I recommend, it's pretty extreme, but it's for example. My alarm every morning, 7 days a week, goes off at 4 o'clock. Why? Because between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, around 7, maybe 8, there is, for me, for my brain, there is this space. I don't know exactly why, probably it has to do with hormones and daylight. And my brain is extremely good for deep work. I leave the lights in the room, I leave it off. The only light is the light of my laptop. The night before I said, this is going to be my goal, and this light just sucks my brain in hyperfocus. And for 3 hours I can do productive work that is better than the rest of the day. If I try to do the same thing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, my brain will get stuck after 1 minute. It's like walking in the mud and you cannot progress. While in the morning I'm flying. If I want to interact socially, in the morning I never do that. Never, ever, ever. That's my brain in the afternoon. In the afternoon, my brain wants to talk, meet new people.
Is this specific to ADHD or it's specific to your case?
Sorry?
Is this
No.
generic?
This is probably a good thing to do for everybody. But for the people with ADHD brains, it's more fundamental. But this is not a sequence. These are just 4 divided blocks, and you need to find out for yourself how your
The reason I ask is because it's for everybody the same.
No.
No, that's what he said.
No, it's not.
I know?
No.
So for him, it's deep work in the morning.
Yes.
But it could be for you.
No, but it's the same, meaning there's a moment for everybody, which is unique, that has a moment for focus. And
Yes, that's
what
the
I
same.
mean.
That's the same.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will say, this for me is at the evening.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, well, maybe it could also be depending on age, right? Because like when I was younger, I noticed that when I was working at night or even like at 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yes.
I was really good at focusing. But now I'm older, I noticed that in the morning, as you say.
I think you're right, and it also depends on your circumstances. And this is from my experiences, which does not have to be yours. I think you can steer it a little bit. Because I always had this in the evening, and then I got kids. So the evenings were gone. So I had to rewire myself as a way of speaking. So I started to do this 4 o'clock thing because I heard it on a podcast, and I'm doing it for a year now, and it has skyrocketed the business, really.
The thing is, well, one of those things is also, as you said, with kids, it's distractions.
Yes.
The more distractions
Yes.
there are in your environment,
Yes.
the more difficult it is to have that deep focus.
Yes.
So for me, for instance,
Sure.
in the morning, if I can get my husband to go make coffee and I
Yes.
can stand under the shower for an hour,
Yes.
that is when I get most of my thinking done. And then after that, for the next hour, don't talk to me because then I have to get my deep work done.
Please remember this. Focus is not forcing yourself to only see one thing. Focus is just cutting away everything else until you have only one. So you don't have to push yourself and punish yourself to just see one thing, like the teacher said, pay attention. It's just cutting off. everything else until there is no more than the one thing. And if you decide in the evening which is the one thing, then in the morning you will start. My alarm clock closes at 4 o'clock. At 4:09 I'm behind my laptop. There is no delay. That's not a recommendation, of course. But, speaking of focus, the ADHD brain is brilliant in getting and thinking about new ideas. Maybe 1,000 an hour. It's a different skill to work for 100 days on one idea. We need to focus. Maybe not the whole day, but there needs to be this block in your day, every day, that you need to focus, and you need to decide what your focus will be. There is plenty of room for creativity, really there is. But until you made $1 million, it's not on the customer, and it's not on that thing that you are selling. So I recommend, until you make $1 million, the rule of one. Choose one avatar, one, how do you say it?
Niche person.
Ideal client, the niche person. And this is not a hard rule, but probably it's better to choose a very interesting client than a very interesting service or product. Most ADHD brains are so curious, and they get the dopamine by relationships and interaction with how do you say it? People that are interesting. So I rather sell something boring to a very interesting person, yes, than I have this amazing new product, which I will be bored about after 100 days, because everything will get boring, because that is the really big challenge. Everything is so boring. So I want to meet new people who are interesting all of the time. So for me, it is, my customers are ADHD people who have a business. Because I love business. Every time they have another story. And then I sell coaching to them again and again and again. It doesn't matter. Because it renews itself by the customer. So please make your first step. Who's the ideal customer? And niche it down really hard. So I started, and everything I did was for every person with ADHD. Women, men, young, old, rich, poor, whatever. Everybody. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all. I felt like spinning in a circle. And then I said, okay, I'm so curious about people who have a business. So my business is for people with ADHD who run a business. Choose one offer. You can stack it, whatever you want.
The question.
Yes, please.
Just marketing question. You do target, so do you accept client outside this avatar, or that's the promotion you do and then you open to everyone?
My channel is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I find out that I really speak only to the business person with ADHD. Nobody listens. If I speak to everybody, I do promotion to everybody, then everybody flows in. And with LinkedIn, you can just pick everybody. So I just present it to everybody, and I pick my avatar, my clients.
Oh.
Yes?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, for sure.
So this is kryptonite for me. Like I had a business coach who said, focus on one thing, and I said, you don't get me, right? I get why they're saying it.
Yes.
I also agree with you, but as you mentioned, would you have been able to focus on the one thing, one avatar, if you hadn't focused on everyone else first? Like, don't you think you had to take that route? Because I've come to the same point, but
Yes.
I had to do the other thing first.
It took me a year. And one point I have, on one side I have this feeling, ooh, I really did not want to have that year of searching. And on the other hand, it built me a network. So it's not like that it was worthless.
Mm-hmm.
But if I knew then what I knew now, I would choose my avatar from the beginning.
But could you?
That's the big question. Because you have to search
Yeah.
to find your food.
Because otherwise you're like, no, you don't get me.
Yes.
At some point,
I don't say don't start until you find your avatar. It's a nice remark. This is what I mean. If an ADHD person gets a setback, the dopamine runs low. They have this urge to reinvent themselves. And that's okay. But don't do it with your client and don't do it with your offer. Please do it with your marketing. So the creativity that you have within this brain, which can produce thousands of new ideas per hour, that is all right. It is a big thing. It is a superpower. But use it on creativity, use your creativity on marketing until you reach 1 million revenue. And don't switch, because you need money to scale smart. Imagine that my ADHD brain is not the truth, but imagine it will enable me on a very high level in landscaping. I would walk in a garden, I would do this, and I would see everything that I could change to create a beautiful garden. I'm a landscaper and my ADHD brain would help me to do that. And I'm myself. So I sell myself and I start to do the work. If I make money and the question for my services become bigger than I can offer, what is the first hire you normally do? You hire another landscaper. Yes. And that's the biggest mistake, which almost took me to bankruptcy. Because what happens, if I hire this other landscaper, I have to pay him. So he bills me, or I have to do the administration. So with this new person that I hire, becomes other activity than landscaping. And those activity, most of the time, all of the time, is not only not my skill set, it is my, how do you call that? My worst of the worst.
Big enough you exist.
Because I can create a beautiful garden within a minute, and it can take me an hour to write an email. This is the ADHD thing. The powers are real and beyond comprehension from time to time. But the disadvantages are real also. If you are in a wrong context, it can cripple you. And the most people do not understand, how am I able to speak on a platform for 5,000 people, but I cannot listen for 5 minutes if I am in the seat where you are now. You might admire me, but I admire you for sitting still. With every new hire comes work that will cripple me, that will take time from my ADHD skill. So my first hire is never another person that will do the work. No, my first hire is somebody that does my email and does my calendar. I do not look at my email ever, never. I do not read it, I do not write it. I do not look at my calendar ever. It's no use, because what is the skill of the ADHD brain? To be completely in the now. And every moment is a new now. It is not of any importance or use to tell me what is going to happen within 3 days, because after 3 minutes I will not remember. I had a meeting this morning with my team. I cannot remember a word that we have spoken, not one word, but everything that we have spoken of will be done. Why? Because I'm not doing it. There's a system. So why do you need a 1 million? You need the road to 1 million because you need to hire people. Your first hire is administration. Let somebody else do your mail and do your calendar. If you want to meet with me, for whatever reason, do not walk to me after this workshop.
in many things,
Many, many things.
right? So, but at some point, you cannot even distinguish anymore.
It's true.
What you-
And it will be a recipe for burnout
Yeah.
in the end. This is true. What he says is true. The ADHD brain, not everybody, but if it combines with a certain level of intelligence, not only intellect intelligence, but emotional intelligence, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying. It will allow you to develop a skill very, very quickly. Every skill. Combine that with dopamine and high curiosity, and you could be anything. You could do anything for a certain amount of time. And if you do anything, and if you are able to do anything, it will amount to nothing. Or a burnout. So, sorry?
Or
Probably
both.
Or both.
Probably both.
Probably both. And so it is, you do what you do with your life. But if you want to be smart about it, you need to scale with a certain priority. First priority is give your calendar and your email to somebody else. It will transform your life, for sure. Second, you don't hire another landscaper. You hire someone who does the onboarding of new clients. Because you will probably be very, very good at sales. Because your empathy, your high curiosity, and your social skills, if you get rid of the angst and the emotional problems, you will be 9 out of 10 a perfect salesperson. But to onboard somebody who said yes to you, that's a totally different skill. And you don't have it. And even if you do have it, you don't have it when there are 10 clients in one day. So you need to let somebody else do that.
Sorry, can you repeat what's onboarding a client for you?
Onboarding a client for me is a client says yes, the mail, the first appointment, the billing, whatever it takes to accustom the client on board of your company, whatever that is. It needs a certain eye for details.
Yeah.
And my brain, you're in? Perfect. Let's search somebody else.
Next.
Next.
It's also putting in card their problem, which
Yes.
might be a bit annoying sometimes to sit and listen to, because you just want to,
You already know.
solve the whole situation.
For me, even to take time to write their name and address,
You're right.
to write it all, I don't do it. Because every time if I look at the paper afterwards, I cannot understand what it says. Because I have written it, but I don't understand it. Yes, please.
So how did you write the book?
You want to be honest?
Please be.
Okay.
Record?
I don't know the English word. What's a cloister?
Monastery.
I've put myself into a monastery for a week.
Okay.
Only one bed, only one table, only one chair, nothing else. And I wrote that book in 1 week.
Sounds about right.
Thanks for that idea, because I know a good monastery.
And it's not recommendable to do it that way because it drains me out completely.
Yeah, how you felt afterwards?
Miserable, very miserable, because it's if you misuse dopamine and if you prolong hyperfocus for much too long, it will give you the same feeling as ecstasy. I don't talk from experience, of course not, but if you use ecstasy, yes, it will use up all your own resources of dopamine, and afterwards you will feel like
You crash.
you crash, for sure. So if I write a book, I know what I'm doing, but it's just like depleting myself from dopamine for probably,
So you also need to plan recovery.
I need a lot of recovery. And if I can do a suggestion, this recovery thing, my biggest ontdekking, discovery of the last year was taking ice bath. Remarkable. Ice bath. Ice bath. That's a game changer for me. To tranquilize your nervous vagus. It's an all different story for another day, but it's amazing.
Did it kind of like reset? Does it reset?
It was reset a lot, and a lot quicker than just being in the bed. Being in the bed is probably always a stupid idea.
Warning,
What is
this
it?
doesn't work the same for men and women.
Sorry?
This doesn't work the same
No,
for men and
it's
women.
not. It does not because of the
People's body
hormones.
doesn't work that
It
way.
really, you really need to find your way in this, please.
And do ADHD sleep very little? Is this a trait?
No, they don't. I've always thought that I could do with 4 hours sleep. It's not true. Probably not true. I know it feels like that. It's not true. You need your sleep.
It's probably the opposite.
Yes, for sure. They did this test, and where they compared people who were with ADHD who took the medicines, and people with ADHD who were helped with their sleeping problems. And help with the sleeping problems had a higher impact than the meds. Okay. Let me wrap this up for you. The third that you need to let go, and I know that a lot of you don't want to let go on this one, but at a point in time, it's good to let go of the marketing. And when I say letting go, I don't say 100% let it go. You transfer to the 10-80-10. The first 10%, the ID, the big vision, that's you. And you deliver that to your team. They do 80% of the work. And they will come back to you and they will show you what they have done. And then for the last time you will look at it and you will say that. If you treat it like that, we have a wrap. So you don't give away everything. You do that with your email and your administration and with the onboarding, but with the marketing, you do 10-80-10. Because the big vision still comes from you. It's you. Creativity still comes from you. You need to remember 2 questions. And you must not mix them. One question is, what else is possible here? And the other question is, what do I need to do to F this up in the fastest amount of time? What do I need to do to be broke tomorrow? Why is that a question?
What do I need to be broke tomorrow?
And what do I need to do to be broke tomorrow?
Not broke,
to go
broke.
bankrupt?
Bankrupt.
Yes.
Oh, broke. Not broke.
Yeah, broke.
Okay.
Really broke. Let me explain this. In the last 10-20 years, we really got used to this positive psychology. We don't have problems, we have challenges. And it's a good way of thinking, really. But in our brain, everybody, not only ADHD, there is this default mode network. It's like the brain being at ease, thinking about this, thinking about that, not like associating on many different things at the same time. And we have this task positive network, where it transfers to if you need to start to work. You can see that on scans. It's just brain gebieden, areas that will switch. What do we see with people with ADHD? That the transfer from DMN, default mode network, to TPN, task positive network, does not happen completely. This is why when we start to work on a task, we still have those other thoughts in our head. We need urgency. We need danger. We need high-level curiosity to really pull our attention towards one thing. If it does not happen, it will not happen. So if I walk, I have this big old farm where our organization is. And if I walk and I ask myself what else is possible here, I get in this creative flow with 1,000 thoughts at the same time. And those are great for marketing.
Yeah.
But if I want to build my business, I don't ask myself that question. I walk around and I ask myself the question, what do I need to do to go bankrupt in the fastest amount of time? And then I reverse engineer the answer. I don't have a task list. I have a task. And this is my one thing that I work on until it's done. So if you walk into my office, you will find a board like this, and on that board there is one thing. And that one thing is the reverse answer to the question, How do I go bankrupt in the fastest amount of time? Because it creates urgency, it creates danger, and then you reverse it, and then you have the ideal answer. That's the answer that only you can work on. You cannot delegate it to your team.
Can you give an example, just one simple
Yeah, for
example
sure.
of that one?
For sure. Next month, I'm not allowed to promote my activity. So you asked the question, it's on you. Next month, I will launch something new. I always did my training live in person like this. And I still love to do it like that, but it's the old way. I get more and more questions for an online platform where people can meet each other. They want more video training, they want more groups coaching, stuff like that. So I'm starting, I don't know if you know the platform School. Yes, it's emerging big time. So in October, we are going to start an online transformation course for people with ADHD on the platform School. I already sold 10 people. I pronounced it everywhere. I arranged nothing. If I let it stay that way, I have a big problem within 3 weeks.
No, I was not.
So there's only one thing. And that's cool. And to be more precise, creating videos. Because only I can do that. There's nobody on my team that can shoot them for me.
Like,
Yeah, you can, but I have to do it. So there is this one thing. And every other question is going to be answered after that. I'm not working on 10 things. I'm working on one thing only. And that's my video. Because if I don't,
do you happen to be in that space where like sheet
sorry?
where sheet happens in reality and then you schedule and there was like I'm doing this, but then
And here comes the marvel of working around 4 o'clock in the morning. Nothing happens at 4 o'clock in the morning. Nobody calling, nobody, whatever.
I meant actually if you could give an example that you said, what do I need to do to go bankrupt? And then you reverse it.
Yes.
Can you give an example of that thing?
I was talking with Marie, my wife, this morning, and I asked her this question very often lately. What do we need to do to go bankrupt? What was the answer this morning?
no fears. Yeah.
Yes. No, I think it was the school.
Yeah, it was school. I mean, for the other businesses.
Yes. So,
But I don't understand. You're saying you put something down. What do I need to do to go bankrupt?
Yes, for
not
sure.
to not go
I
bankrupt.
create the danger in my head. I trick my head
Yeah.
into danger.
So what was when you got that was the answer?
Not make videos.
No,
So
not
basically-
like
If I don't make
Or
videos,
not make videos. Okay.
if I don't deliver next month what I promised and already sold and already got paid for, then I have a big problem.
Okay.
Oh, but
Yeah.
getting paid up front is really bad for ADHDers, isn't it?
It works.
Forget.
I disagree.
It's the danger. I mean,
It is
it's the danger
it
of
is a
both.
danger if you don't collaborate with someone without ADHD to supervise the market.
That is true.
I need the money upfront to accommodate services around school because I'm going to do the videos. Nobody else can do that for me. But I'm not going to put them on school. That's maybe one small task, but I'm not going to do it.
That creates urgency and danger because now you have to deliver.
Yes, but I only do what I do. So I already rang my guy. When I'm done, he's going to make it happen. And I need the money up front to accommodate my brain.
But your
and my
guy is
business.
the danger now because you have to pay his bill. So that's
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What if you had to bootstrap your way to hiring your first hire? What would you do? Where would you focus on?
percentage.
If you bootstrap, so you're you, and you have to do everything yourself for now.
Yes.
And you want to get to this level as fast as you can.
All right. Most of the time, if you start from scratch, and you really have this nice big idea, then it will create dopamine for a certain amount of time because it's new. And that will probably keep you going for the first 3 to 6 months, really. And that's why you mustn't F up this period of time. You cannot go like this, and like that, and like that, and like that. You really, there's an urgency to do the right thing in the first 6 months because it will, the dopamine will crash. It will subside. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yes.
But is this not for everyone?
It is, because most recommendations are good recommendations for everyone, but they are a necessity for people with ADHD. Because if you crash, if your dopamine is done, discipline will not help you.
And inspiration also won't, because you over.
For sure. It doesn't. And inspirational and how do you say that? Saying all the mantras and meditation, it will not help you. You must be on that first dopamine train, and it must make money. And if it makes money, it will create new dopamine. Yes, for sure. Don't spend it. But hire not to grow the business, hire to buy back your time. Yes,
Can
please.
I add something to that? A lot of you, when you think of hiring other people, you might think, oh, but that's a huge cost. For example, one thing I do when you mention about the client delivery and a lot of the admin is I help businesses build a system that
Yes, for
basically
sure.
does all of that for you. So you literally click a button and it does all of it.
Yes, and
So that's also a route you can go to kind of allow yourself to do that a bit more without doing
so true what you are saying. I am, and that's not to, but I'm quite big on LinkedIn. I don't know why. I tried Instagram. It crashed all over the place. I tried LinkedIn and it really skyrocketed. And then I have around 13,000 followers who DM me every day, and I'm getting crazy. Yes, for sure. It's crazy. And so I asked this guy to organize a software system for me. So automatically, it really differs who are new leads, warm lead, hot leads, so I can give my attention to where it needs to go.
And then all the follow-up onboarding.
For sure, for sure.
You don't
So-
have to do, a human doesn't have to do any of
No,
that.
but the risk in this is that we do it. We build the system.
Yes.
No,
Don't
you
build-
get someone else to do it.
Yeah,
for
Yes.
I
you.
know that's the smart thing, but
But if you have high functioning ADHD,
You can do it. It's not
You
hard.
only have to build one.
okay, and this is the last thing. This is the last thing.
Alright.
You must differ between dopamine and value. You can create dopamine for yourself by just putting a nice big fat cross behind a task that is done. But it doesn't say that you did the work. There are 4 dopamine areas. Things that do not create dopamine and do not create value. Please delegate that as quickly as possible. Email, calendar, stuff like that. Then there are things that do not create dopamine, but they do create money, the farmer tasks. Please hire someone and use the 10-80-10. You create the ID, you transfer the ID, you control the outcome. Then, and this is the big danger, you have the things that create a lot of dopamine, but they don't give money. I'm not a money-driven guy by nature, but money is the only value that will show you if you do the work effectively. If it does not create money, you are not working. It doesn't matter how much hour you put in it, it is not work. Work, by definition, is measured by money, because that is the currency which we trade work and services to one another. products and services to one another. If it does not create money, and it does create dopamine, it's very great for the time that you make $1 million in revenue. And you have all people's systems in place, and you have the freedom to wander between hunting season, those tests that do give dopamine and do give money, and from time to time, you allow yourself to do the dopamine test, the dopamine, you get the dopamine without the reward.
What's an example of that one?
This one for me.
Marketing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But sometimes even dumber. I just, if I make, how do you call it, a weggever, like a free
Giveaway.
giveaway. If I make a giveaway, and I get a lot of response, I need to let an appointment setter do that. You just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. If I'm honest, I love to do it myself. I just love to do it. I don't know why, but there's something soothing for my brain. Just copy paste, copy paste. It's like an artistic part of me that loves to do that. It does create some kind of value, but even a 14-year-old kid for 10 hours, $10 an hour can do that. So it does not belong to me. But I love to do it. I need to get rid of it because it takes hours. Speaking about time, I'm so sorry. Thank you very much for your attention. That's a nice word to use at the end. I hope you enjoy it, you learned something, and if you want to talk, we will be here afterwards.
Is there anything we can do for you?
For me? That's a nice question. Yeah, for sure. If you know somebody in your network who's struggling with this, our website, is it there somewhere? I don't know. Yes. If you just tilt your head, www.frankvanstrijen.nl, and I might help.